Willie D Live.
What is the people back where you grew up at? What are they saying about you? What do they think of you? Like give me a
Well, I get hate and love.
yeah, okay. Give me an example of the hate and the love. Maybe that was a particular incident that happened.
Well, I mean, I say this, it always is people closest to you. You know, that's the one they always say, this people you got to watch. I had a cousin who I kind of knew but didn't grow up that much. And a lot of times people are very proud of me coming from the environment that I came from, and they see me with celebrities or whatever, or they write, when we read in my article, people like, you know, bragging to their friends like, that's my cousin. They in the jail cell, my cousin wrote this, or that's my cousin TV show, or whatever. So it's usually love. But there was a cousin who I had was like, fuck him, he think he all of that. He ain't nothing. He ain't shit anyway. He fake.
So basically, the nothing ain't shit cousin said you was nothing and ain't shit.
Correct. We later reconciled and made peace, and he was mad, and I'm like, but how are you gonna be mad at me for me not being stuck in an environment? You know, I'm both the black sheep and the hero, you know, and I embrace both. I'm fine with that. And obviously, you know, it's okay. I understand that's life, right? But majority of the time, they're proud. They're like, oh, that's my man, or damn, they see you, whatever, or like, damn, I see a show you did, or that's my cousin, or that's my friend, or that's my boy. So at least from Oakland, I get a lot of love, you know, because I put the city in terms of media on my back and have for like, you know, 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about some of these cities naming streets after some of our contemporaries?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I think that's amazing. I saw they did a Tribe Called Quest in Queens. In Oakland, they get a Too Short street. I think it just shows the level that hip-hop has permeated the culture, and that, you know, those kind of things are like for government officials or Mandela or people like that. But we are also freedom fighters and truth tellers in the same way. And so even though Todd Too Short may say, you know, what's my favorite word, bitch, he pioneered independent music. And a lot of those artists that him and 40 did were able to do that because of them. So I think taking the good, you know, Amiri Baraka talks about sometimes we don't realize the good meat of things. So there's a lot of good meat in hip-hop. There's a lot of bad meat. But I'm happy to see that, you know, hip-hop has gotten to the place. You know, I saw the other day where Kamala Harris had a hip-hop 50th thing at the White House or Vice President's house. Something.
Yeah, she was in there boogalooing, shucking and jiving. But go ahead.
You could say whatever about her, the politics, but the fact that all of us was at the motherfucking Vice President's house, Young Jeezy's on stage, who's the snowman, the fucking crack king, is on stage that just shows you how far they would have never even let us go there in 94. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it does show how far we've come because they need us. They've always needed us.
Right.
But you know, like Barack wouldn't have gotten in without hip hop.
Correct.
You know, that was hip hop. That was all of those bricks that the House of Hip Hop built that, you know, eventually opened the door, that actually built the door and then opened that, gave Barack the key to, you know, get through that door.
Right.
That's what got Barack Obama elected. It was hip hop. All these young people who ain't never voted in their life, you know, people that was turning 18 for the first time couldn't wait, you know, to punch that ticket.
Right.
That's how he got in.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you mentioned Kamala Harris, and you mentioned like, yeah, we got there. We're there now. We're in the White House. We're at the Vice President's house and partying and stuff like that. But you know, I say but, you know, I hate to say it, but it's those are symbolic gestures. You know, like don't you think we need something more substantive?
Of course. I'm not saying it, but I think that it's important now that Killer Mike can go advise the mayor of Atlanta, that Fabby Davis in Oakland can go talk to the mayor and say, hey, we have these problems and these issues, you know. I do think I was talking to someone yesterday and talking about hip-hop in its essence is the voice of the voiceless. It was people who were the outcast. Hip-hop, by the way, started as a friend of punk music. Punk music, we were the outlaws. They embraced each other. I don't know if people know this, but in the beginning, hip-hop and punk dudes used to party in the same clubs because they wouldn't let us in other clubs. I'm saying this to say, I think that we've lost a lot of the political nature of us. You guys talk about the government, the FBI, Jay Prince being followed, whatever, they're antagonizing him. I don't think that we have that. I think a lot of the stuff we have now is symbolic, like you said. I was happy at the party, but you're correct. I think that we can't go change legislation. We can't change laws as much as we should, and that's the real power. The fact that LL Cool J can host the Grammys is amazing for me because I remember they wouldn't even fucking let us in the room. But if he can be on the board of NARAS and then make change, and I see the Oscars now, they're inviting more black people of color to be members, so I do think that's power. You know, power is me being on the board of something and being able to bring more people of color in, and that's power. Me being common and going to the White House and say, hey, Southside Chicago need funding for such and such. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of symbolism, but I do think there is some movements that we've made politically and socially and economically, but I don't think we're that concerned. I think we're more concerned with driving a Bentley and wearing some Louis and then popping a bottle. You know what I mean? The whole VIP pop a bottle shit is just so ridiculous to me from where we started. But I'm hopeful that, you know, I do think things are changing. I think that there's a politicalness amongst the millennials and Gen Z that's sometimes good. You know what I mean? People talk about how they're so self-obsessed with themselves, but I do think that they are concerned. That the Black Lives Matter thing, to me, really reminded me of Black Panthers today. You know, obviously, the Black Panthers, we had shotguns. They had a camera. But I think we need more of us worried about changing law than can I get on Kamala Harris's VIP list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And using that money to create resources for our people and opportunities. Like, instead of just being consumers, you can't consume your way to freedom. You have to produce freedom, you know? And that's what we got to get used to. And I know for a lot of us, we fought so hard to get to where we are, we just want to just enjoy the fruits of our labor. But we can only go high. One of us can only go as high as the group does. You know, and I know for some people they don't care about that. You say, man, as long as I'm getting mine, I'm straight. Right. F everybody else. Right. It's money over everything. But for me, I'd rather, you know, if I can get an opportunity to create jobs, if I can get an opportunity to bust into a new industry and be able to help provide a lifestyle for people that they may not otherwise have, I want to do that. And I want to try to be in a position where I can affect as many lives as possible. That way we're not always going to people and asking people and begging people to give us an opportunity who were indoctrinated not to give us an opportunity. You know, like, we're going to these places, we're going to college and we're getting out and we're hoping and praying these people give us an opportunity, and we have to doctor our resumes and hope that they don't ask for a picture, and, you know, we can't really use our real name, you know, because, you know, it sounds too black. And
well, I tell you, I know when I was younger, I was like, I would make sure my name wasn't ethnic because I didn't want to be like, because I was going to get judged right before. You're right.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we live in this type of society where if you give your kid an black ethnic sounding name, then you're gonna put them at a social disadvantage, and that's just what it is.
Right. Yeah.
P. Frank Williams, thank you for coming on the show, man.
Willie D.
Look. Before we go, I did want to ask you this: when it's time for you to go and you ain't got no more, how do you want to be remembered?
It's a good one. You know, I still operate, and I know it sounds like stereotypical and it may sound cliche, but I still operate by the G code. You know, you guys know about the G code, and both a gentleman and a gangster. And so I think that epitomizes who I am in terms of being from a certain environment, but operating like a classy, grown man. And so that's my goal, is that, you know, when I'm there, I'm hoping that people will say, well, damn, that was my boy. He was a good guy, and he operated with integrity, and he wasn't afraid to try to challenge the system and change things. I hope that I've made some change in my life and provided opportunity. I think that my goal is always to create more P. Franks. There needs to be 50 more, 100 more of them who come from those environments. And people, when I was young, they were trying to abort me because my mother was a teenage mother. And I think I carry that on my shoulder, like coming from those environments and going to Ivy Leagues and all this kind of stuff. We have to prove why we're there. And so for me, I want to, on my epitaph, it was like he went for it. And he did it with integrity. And he was pretty fly when he was doing it, too, so that's my guy.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Well, we see you. We hear you. We love you. We respect you.
Appreciate it.
You're an inspiration.
Thank you, my brother. Make sure you watch Freaknik, the Wildest Story Never Told, coming on Hulu. I got another show that's going to be coming out next year on TV One. It's a music competition. So I'm still out here in the mix, doing this thing, and I'm finalizing a project with Ben Crump on Henrietta Lacks, which is the first black woman who sells their immortal cells. That's an audio podcast with Audible. So the things I'm working on, and you hit me up at P. Frank Williams. I don't have no baby, middle baby. It's just my name, my government, P. Frank.
No more talk.